And now to Cameroon. Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland, on official visit to Cameroon since Tuesday, has called for unity and dialogue as the country faces serious socio-political crisis in its anglophone western regions. Meeting with Cameroon's President Paul Biya, Scotland said she was sad about the current events in the English-speaking area. On his part, President Biya reaffirmed his commitment to bilingualism and multiculturalism, saying that they were exceptional assets for the Cameroons.
And during her 4-day visit, Patricia Scotland is supposed to meet the country's main political leaders as well as representatives of parties, the civil society and the business leaders. Security in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon has deteriorated considerably in just a few weeks. 4 policemen were killed in a fresh attack earlier this week, bringing to 15 the number of members of the Cameroonian security forces who were killed there in less than 2 months. Bordering Nigeria, the anglophone west of Cameroon has been since the late 2016 the scene of serious socio-economic crisis. A fringe of the country's anglophone minority, about 20% of the 23 million inhabitants, are calling for the separation of the Cameroonian state region. To better understand this situation, we speak to Marie Ngoup of the International Crisis Group.
Bonjour, Monsieur Ngoup. Au vu des derniers développements en zone...
Thank you for joining us in the program. In view of the latest developments in the English-speaking zone of Cameroon, can it be said that the radicalization of certain population has entered its most bloody phase?
On peut constater que depuis novembre, il y a une insurrection dans les régions du nord-ouest.
We can notice since the month of November there has been an insurrection in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon that is trying to establish itself. It has been noticed that in almost 2 months the Cameroonian forces have already lost 16 men. It is 4 times more than the number of soldiers who were killed at the extreme north of on the same duration. So this should give you a scale of comparison on what is happening in this region. And at the same time, when we follow the official Cameroonian media and even the speeches of the ministers of communication, they announced training camps at the border with Nigeria and recruitments among the anglophone population. So I think that the strong deterioration of the situation has led to an insurrection which is trying to take shape. Cameroonian authorities accuse the secessionists of being responsible for these attacks. Who exactly are they, though some have not hesitated to say they receive support from jihadists?
I'm going
to rule out the jihadist theory. Now, these are mostly Cameroonians. 99% are Cameroonians. The Anglophone movement as a whole has several branches. One which was created last year as a result of a repressive response by the Cameroonian government. This is the secessionist movement, representing an average of 20% of the Anglophone population. And within this movement, there has been a rise in power from supporters of armed struggle to the point where it is already dominating. And on the plan of tactical infrastructure, there on the ground, we have an identified group that presents itself as the Ambazonian Defense Forces. We have another group that is the Southern Cameroon Defense Forces, and another group under the same name, Southern Defense Forces with a different abbreviation. And they are led by these leaders in charge of rebel militias who are responsible for these attacks. And Nigeria had to make an exit to say that it did not support the secessionists. Can it be of a contribution in this fight for the Cameroonian forces? The position of Nigeria is somewhat complicated because even with all the goodwill of the world, it is a country that has a difficulty in mastering the totality of its territory. And more often, there are sometimes civilian conflicts and even of competence between the federal authorities, and in particular with the federal authorities in a state such as Cross River. There is some sort of sympathy for the Anglophone crisis in Cameroon.
anglophone camerounaise.
What makes the federal state of Nigeria, this is something that makes the federal state of Nigeria to struggle to go further in cooperation with Cameroon on the issue of secessionists. For example, Cameroon has made requests for the expulsion of Cameroonian secessionist executives who are in Nigeria. It wasn't done. International arrest warrants have been issued, but they have not been executed. It is also known that there is a large population of Cameroonian refugees in Nigeria, 7,204 according to the UNHCR, but 28,000 according to the Cross River authorities. The Cameroonian governor of the southwest region tried to visit them, but the access was not allowed. There are still complications on the way the two states are managing this crisis.
Alors nous continuerons évidemment à suivre.
We will continue monitoring this situation in Cameroon.
Merci à vous.
Thank you very much, Marion Gop, for your insight regarding this issue. Marion Gop is a researcher at the International Crisis Group in Nairobi, Kenya.